Oh boy. Here we go, y'all. Go. A lot of people dressed up funny. Got a lot of people dressed up in with their hats and worker and stuff on.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Nice crowd. What a good-looking group of people. Well, we have some very, very good news today, and a lot of good things are happening for our country. Please sit down. My fellow Americans, this is Liberation Day.
Great.
Waiting for a long time.
Incredible.
April 2nd, 2025 will forever be remembered as the day American industry was reborn, the day America's destiny was reclaimed, and the day that we began to make America wealthy again. We're going to make it wealthy, good and wealthy. For decades, our country has been looted, pillaged, raped, and plundered by nations near and far, both friend and foe alike. American steel workers, auto workers, farmers, and skilled craftsmen, we have a lot of them here with us today. They really suffered gravely. They watched in anguish as foreign leaders have stolen our jobs, foreign cheaters have ransacked our factories, and foreign scavengers have torn apart our once beautiful American dream. We had an American dream.
Share this out.
You don't hear so much about. You did 4 years ago, and you are now, but you don't too often, and for many years and decades even, you didn't hear too much about. Our country and its taxpayers have been ripped off for more than 50 years, but it is not going to happen anymore. It's not going to happen. In a few moments, I will sign a historic executive order instituting reciprocal tariffs on countries throughout the world. Reciprocal, that means they do it to us and we do it to them. Very simple. Can't get any simpler than that. This is one of the most important days, in my opinion, in American history. It's our declaration of economic independence. For years, hardworking American citizens were forced to sit on the sidelines as other nations got rich and powerful, much of it at our expense. But now it's our turn to prosper, and in so doing, use trillions and trillions of dollars to reduce our taxes and pay down our national debt, and it'll all happen very quickly.
Trillions.
With today's action, we are finally going to be able to make America great again, greater than ever before.
Wow. So great.
Jobs and factories will come roaring back into our country, and you see it happening already. We will supercharge our domestic industrial base. We will pry open foreign markets and break down foreign trade barriers. And ultimately, more production at home will mean stronger competition and lower prices for consumers. This will be indeed the golden age of America. It's coming back. We're going to come back very strongly.
Said that when he won. I don't know. Not seeing it.
We're pleased to be joined on this momentous occasion by Vice President J.D. Vance. J.D., thank you. Thank you.
J.D. Vance.
Thank you very much. Where are you, J.D.?
J.D.
No, that wasn't too hard to find. I was looking, you know, he likes to take a low-key attitude, so usually we sit right.
Yeah, super low-key.
A lot of confidence, Mike, isn't it?
Yeah, so low-key.
Nearly my entire cabinet is here, as well as Speaker Mike Johnson, who's done an amazing job. And with the great success we had last night in Florida, we have a majority of 7, and 7's like a lot when we had it at 1, right? You've done a fantastic job, and many of the members of the House and Senate are with us. Senators, Congressmen, thank you all for being with us. We appreciate it. For decades, the United States slashed our trade barriers on other countries, while those nations placed massive tariffs on our products and created outrageous non-monetary barriers to decimate our industries. And in many cases, the non-monetary barriers were worse than the monetary ones. They manipulated their currencies, subsidized their exports, stole our intellectual property, imposed exorbitant VAT taxes to disadvantage our products, adopted unfair rules and technical standards, and created filthy pollution havens. They were absolutely filthy, but they always came to us and they said, we're violating, we should pay for it. It's all detailed in a very big report by the U.S. Trade Representative on foreign trade barriers, and I'll just hold it up for you. It's available, and you don't have to pay too much. As I understand it, you'll pay nothing. It's a lot of work for something, actually, because it's a special book. It's frankly, it's very upsetting when you read it, when you see what people have been doing to us for 30 years. This all happened with no response from the United States of America, none whatsoever. But those days are over. Let me offer just a few examples of the vicious attacks our workers have faced for so many years. The United States charges other countries only a 2.4 tariff on motorcycles. Meanwhile, Thailand and others are charging much higher prices, like 60%. India charges 70%. Vietnam charges 75%, and others are even higher than that. Likewise, until today, the United States has for decades charged a 2.5 tariff. Think of that, 2.5% on foreign-made automobiles. The European Union charges us more than 10% tariffs, and they have 20% VATs, much, much higher.
How many parts in these cars are foreign?
Perhaps worst of all are the non-monetary.
Yeah, okay, blah, 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 blah. All of our American vehicles have foreign parts in them now.
As a result of
so they're going to go up.
Colossal trade barriers.
Better hope you have a vehicle. If you don't, you're not going to be able to buy one for a while.
Made in South Korea.
Or if you have a lot of money.
90% of the cars in Japan are made in Japan.
Our prices are going to...
Toyota sells 1 million foreign-made automobiles into the United States, and General Motors
I got mine.
Almost none.
I got my vehicle.
Ford sells very little. None of our companies are allowed to go into other countries. And I say that, friend and foe. And in many cases, the friend is worse than the foe in terms of trade. But such horrendous imbalances have devastated our industrial base and put our national security at risk. I don't blame these other countries at all for this calamity. I blame former presidents and past leaders who weren't doing their job. They let it happen, and they let it happen to an extent that nobody can even believe. That's why, effective at midnight, we will impose a 25% tariff on all foreign-made automobiles. Thank you.
All of them?
Brian, I'd like to have you come up here for a second.
Yeah, I'm tired, Brian.
You see him sitting. He's been a fan of ours, and he understands this business a lot better than the Economists, a lot better than anybody. Brian, say a few words, please, would you?
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you. It's a great honor to have you. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr.
Holy.
President. I grew up just north of Detroit, Michigan, in
Ruddy.
Macomb County, known as the home of the Reagan Democrats. My first vote for president was for Ronald Reagan. I thought that was going to be the best
Reagan
president I ever saw in
Democrats?
my lifetime until Donald J. Trump came along.
How cooked was America in the 80s?
My entire life, I have watched plant after plant after plant in Detroit and in the metro Detroit area close. There are now plants sitting idle. There are now plants that are underutilized, and Donald Trump's policies are going to bring product back into those underutilized plants.
Oh, are they?
There's going to be new investment.
Are they?
There's going to be new plants built.
Go
and
big
the
to new
UAW
plants.
members, and I brought 20 of them with me. They're sitting right over here. We support Donald Trump's policies on tariffs 100%.
Look at his dumb fucking hat.
We can't thank you enough. And in 6 months or a year, we're going to begin to see the benefits. I can't wait to see what's happening 3 or 4 years down the road. Thank you, Mr. President.
Go burn that hat. Never wear that hat again.
He got
Of
it
all
right.
the MAGA hats that
Before
exist,
almost anybody else, this group over there, they got it too. And, you know, we won the state of Michigan. We won almost all of them, but we won Michigan by a lot. And I want to just thank you all. The auto workers were fantastic. The Teamsters were fantastic. Everyone was pretty good, I will tell you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. You're going to be very happy very soon. And you probably see what's happening with all of the not only car companies, but car companies in particular. See it with all of the ones they're moving, they're announcing day in, day out. You're seeing it. Nobody's ever seen anything like that. With today's actions, we're also standing up for our great farmers and ranchers who are brutalized by nations all over the world. Brutalized.
Yeah, and you're helping him do that.
Canada, by the way,
Corporatizing
imposes
farms.
a 250 to 300% tariff on many of our dairy products. They do the first can of milk. They do the first little carton of
The
milk.
can of
Price,
milk?
but after that, it gets bad, and then it gets up to 275, 300%. So when they're figuring what's Canada charging, they say, oh, about 2%, 3%.
The can of milk.
But take a look at what happens down the road. When you look a little bit, it's not a pretty picture, and we don't like it, and it's not fair. It's not fair to our farmers. It's not fair to our country. And with countries like Canada, you know, we subsidize a lot of countries and keep them going and keep them in business. In the case of Mexico, it's $300 billion a year. In the case of Canada, it's close to $200 billion a year. And I say, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? I mean, at what point do we say you got to work for yourselves, and you got to? This is why we have the big deficits. This is why we have that.
You got to work for yourselves.
That's been placed on our heads over the last number of years, and we're really not taking it anymore. Through non-tariff barriers, the European Union bans imports of most American poultry. You understand? They say, we want to send you our cars, we want to send you everything, but we're not going to take anything that you have. Australia bans, and they're wonderful people and wonderful everything, but they ban American beef, yet we imported $3 billion of Australian beef from them just last year alone. They won't take any of our beef. They don't want it because they don't want it to affect their farmers. And you know what? I don't blame them, but we're doing the same thing right now, starting about midnight tonight, I would say. And China charges American rice farmers an overquota, it's called, a tariff rate of 65%. South Korea charges 50. Actually, they charge different, from 50% to 513%. And Japan,
513%.
charges a 700%. But that's because they don't want us selling rice, another thing. Who can blame them, Madam Secretary? Agriculture, great job you did on eggs, by the way. The egg prices came down 50%. You got them down 50%. Once we got involved, they were going through the sky. The egg prices, they were going through the sky, and you did a fantastic job. Now,
So egg prices are defeated?
Much cheaper, down about 59%.
They're not.
Now,
They're not.
and they're going down further.
I can't get eggs at the grocery store. They're sold out.
8% for so many things that other countries are charging 200%, 300%, and 400% for. If imposing tariffs and protective barriers made nations poor, then every country on earth would be racing to eliminate these policies, and China would be the first on line. They run a very strong country.
They're on a strong country.
They're
China.
not first in line, and the American people are paying a very big
China
price.
runs a strong country, guys.
1789 to 1913, we were a tariff-backed nation, and the United States was proportionately the wealthiest it has ever been. So wealthy, in fact, that in the 1880s, they established a commission to decide.
What are you fucking talking about?
With the vast sums of money they were collecting. We were collecting so much money.
Bro, we live in 2025. We live in 2025.
Problem to have. What do you think, Marco? Good problem? Marco would love that problem. But we don't have that problem anymore. But
Got to be the dumbest person that's ever opened his mouth.
But they collected so much money, they actually formed a commission to determine what they were going to do with the money, who they were going to give it to, and how much. Then in 1913, for reasons unknown to mankind,
thank you, Dizzy, for subscribing with Prime.
Income tax, so that citizens, rather than foreign countries, would start paying the money necessary to run our government. Then in 1929, it all came to a very abrupt end with the Great Depression, and it would have never happened if they had stayed with.
If I wasn't president,
it would have been a much different story. They
no,
tried to
you're an idiot.
bring back tariffs to save
no, you're dumb.
Country, but
Wrong.
it was gone.
Nope.
It was gone. It was too late. Nothing
Nope.
could have been done. It took years and years to get out of that depression, far longer than even FDR.
What are you talking about?
There for a long period of time. The ramp system, that's rather intricate, was built because of him. And every
They gave Don the wrong drugs today.
Him, and he did a great job in many ways. But
They gave Trump the wrong batch today, guys.
As you know, but it's
Holy.
not too late any longer, and we're going to start being smart, and we're going to start being very wealthy again. We're going to be wealthy as a country because they've taken so much of our wealth away from us. We're not going to let that happen. We truly can be very wealthy. We can be so much wealthier than any country. It's not even believable.
We already are. We already are.
Smart. Nearly a century later, in the face of unrelenting economic warfare, the United States can no longer continue with a policy of unilateral economic surrender. We cannot pay the deficits of Canada, Mexico, and so many other countries. We used to do it. We can't do it anymore. We take care of countries all over the world. We pay for their military. We pay for everything they have to pay. And then when you want to cut back a little bit, they get upset.
Yeah, we're 30 trillion in debt, but yet let's do another fucking F-47 plane. Fuck off.
First, and I'm sorry to say
Fuck all the way off. Yeah, we're $30 trillion in debt, guys. This is bad, but we need another jet.
Standing up for the American worker.
Let's increase defense spending.
Putting America first.
So in debt.
In sleepy Joe Biden's last year,
Joe Biden,
the United States hemorrhaged 100,000.
And this never would have happened.
Jobs, and the number was going through the roof at levels never seen before. And our trade deficit reached a record $1.2 trillion, which is unheard of. Since the beginning of NAFTA, the worst trade deal ever made. It was a horror show. I was able to terminate it. They all said you'd never be able to get it out. We had to get approval from Congress to get it terminated. We had to live with that deal. It was the worst trade deal ever made by far. But since the very beginning of NAFTA, our country lost 90,000 factories. Think of what that is, 90,000. Think about putting a map up and putting tax on it. You wouldn't have enough room. 90,000. I said, is that possible? We had it checked 4 different times, and it was actually somewhat higher than that. And 5 million manufacturing jobs were lost while racking up trade deficits of $19 trillion. That was the worst trade deal ever made. As a result of these gigantic losses, foreign nations now own $26 trillion more of American assets than think of this, than the Americans own of their own foreign assets or other foreign assets. The United States can no longer produce enough antibiotics to treat our sick. We have a tremendous problem. We have to go to foreign countries to treat our sick. If anything ever happened from a war standpoint, we wouldn't be able to do it. We import virtually all of our computers, phones, televisions, and electronics. We used to dominate the field, and now we import it all from different countries. A single shipyard in China now produces more ships every year than all of the American shipyards combined. Think of that. And it was a business that we used to dominate. We used to dominate it totally. In short, chronic trade deficits are no longer merely an economic problem. They're a national emergency that threatens our security and our very way of life. It's a very great threat to our country. And for these reasons, starting tomorrow, the United States will implement reciprocal tariffs on other nations. It's been a long time since we even thought of that. We used to think about it a lot. We didn't think about it for many decades, and you see what's happened. For nations that treat us badly, we will calculate the combined rate of all their tariffs, non-monetary barriers, and other forms of cheating. And because we are being very kind, we're kind people. Very kind. You're not so kind when you got ripped off with your salaries. My auto worker friends and my Teamster friends and all of the unions that typically voted Democrat, they're not voting Democrat anymore because
they're stupid. Because they're fucking stupid and they're screwing over their workers.
That's what happened.
Because they sold out.
But we
That's
will
why.
charge them approximately half of what they are and have been charging us. So
work against my best interest, ass people.
Not a full reciprocal. I could have done that, yes, but it would have been tough for a lot of countries. We didn't want to do that. I'd like to see the chart if you have it. Could you bring it up, Howard? This is our great Secretary.
Another great chart.
Howard Lutnick. Thanks, Howard. So,
wow.
If you look at that,
wow.
China, first row.
Looks like
China,
an iPad.
67%. That's tariffs charged to the USA, including.
Why do they put the
currency
European
manipulation
Union
and
second,
trade
but it's at
barriers?
39%?
67%. I think you can, for the most part, see it. Those with good eyes, with bad eyes. We didn't want to bring, it's very windy out here. We didn't want to bring out the big charts because it had no chance of standing.
You could have done it inside.
Fortunately, we came armed with a little smaller chart. So it's 67%, so we're going to be charging a discounted reciprocal tariff of 34%. I think, in other words, they charge us, we charge them less. So how can anybody be upset?
So you just fucking said we're doing reciprocal tariffs. What does that mean? Why is China at 67% and then we're charging them at 34, but yet European Union's at 39 and we're doing 20? What is this?
They rip us off. It's so sad to see. It's so pathetic.
Vietnam, 90%.
We charge them 20%, so we're charging them essentially half. Vietnam, great negotiator.
This isn't even reciprocal. What does this fucking mean?
Like them,
The United Kingdom's reciprocal. Look at that, 10 for 10. Where's Canada? I can't see Canada on this stupid fucking chart that he has.
Took all of our computer chips and semiconductors.
I'm sure it's the 10% for 10% down there.
Everything. We had all of it. Now we have almost none of it, except the biggest company is coming in. They're going to have,
Look at that. You can see the numbers. None of them are, the only reciprocal ones are like to the UK. I'm not seeing the other numbers here. I can't see the rest of them down here.
One of the biggest plants in the world, maybe the biggest for that. But 64%, we're going to charge them 32%. Japan, very, very tough. Great people.
You're going to go through it one by one?
I don't blame the people for doing it. I think they're very smart in doing it. I blame the people that sat right in that Oval Office, right over there.
What?
Right behind the Resolute desk or whichever desk they chose. Japan,
what are you
46%.
talking about?
They would charge us 46%.
No, this is for real. None of this is a joke.
Like cars, little items like cars.
Trump is a joke, but
46%,
this is unfortunately real.
24%. India, very, very tough. Very, very tough. The Prime Minister just
with
left.
the 26% tariff.
He's a friend of mine, but I said, you're a friend of mine, but you're not treating us right. They charge us 52%. You have to understand, we charge them almost nothing for years and years and decades. And it was only 7 years ago when I came in, we started with China and charged them. We took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China in tariffs. And they understood, honestly. President Xi understood. He said, look, I understand. And the other countries, and they all understand.
What are we even
We're gonna have to
doing,
go through
dude?
a little tough love, maybe, but they all understand. They're ripping us off, and they understood it. Prime Minister of Japan, Shinzo Abe. He was a fantastic man. He was unfortunately taken from us, assassination. But I went to him and I said, Shinzo, we have to do something. A trade is not fair. He said, I know that. I know that. And he was a great gentleman.
Did he say that? Did he actually say that?
Fantastic man. But he understood immediately what I was talking about. I said, Shinzo, we have to do something. He said, I know that. And we worked out a deal, and it would have been a much better deal, but frankly, there were many years left on the deal that was made previous to my getting there, but it was something. If you look at Switzerland, 61% to 31%.
I approve
Indonesia,
all unhinged
Malaysia,
comments.
Cambodia, oh, look at Cambodia, 90.
Say what you got to say. Free speech absolutism today in the chat.
And they made a fortune with the United States of America.
We believe in free
United
speech
Kingdom, 10%.
absolutism.
And we'll go 10%. So we'll do the same thing. South Africa, 60%, 30%.
Oh,
Bad things going on in
I don't
South
see
Africa.
Canada yet.
We're paying them billions of dollars, and we cut the funding because a lot of bad things are happening in South Africa. The fake news ought to be looking at it. They don't want to report it. Brazil, 10%, 10%.
Is Canada the 88% one?
Is 74%. So you see what's
I can't
going
see.
on. Pakistan, 58%. Sri Lanka, 88%.
That's Sri Lanka
What
then.
we're doing is we're taking.
Canada's not on there.
the
All right, in
we
case
can
I
take
can't
the
see
full
it.
88%. Thanks a lot. He's doing a very good job. How's he doing? All right. I think you better take it with you. It's not going to last very long.
So the whole like what they charge us, we charge them is literally a lie, actual lie, even within their own lies. Because he just held up the chart and there was like, oh, he wants a hat. Who wants a hat? What a fucking liar, dude! Just a liar all around. Like, even if you support these dumb fuck tariffs, you're not getting actual reciprocal tariffs.
Thank you.
If you were somehow convinced by MAGA and him that, like, oh, you know, equal, they charge us 90%, we charge them 90%. Nope, not happening.
Our cabinet.
According to his dumb fuck chart.
But you see the numbers. The numbers are so disproportionate. They're so unfair. At the same time,
Except for the
we will
UK.
establish a minimum baseline.
That's
tariff
10%
of
for 10%.
10%. You notice that on the chart, and that'll be on other countries to help rebuild our economy and to.
So prices are going up, and he's not even doing the thing that he says he's doing.
And we're going to be very severe on the people.
Great.
That
Incredible work.
That watch the tariffs and watch the product coming in, because
Incredible work.
A lot of bad things happening at the gate because the money is so enormous that you're talking about. There's never been probably anything like it in terms of the enormity, and there are a lot of bad things happen at the people that do the check-in, and they're looking at 10-year jail sentences if they do play. We're going to treat them so good, but if they cheat, the repercussions are going to be extremely strong. Foreign nations will finally be asked to pay for the privilege of access to our market, the biggest market in the world. We're right now the biggest market in the world. We had a great country 4 years ago in terms of the economics. We were doubling up on China. We were doing so well. Nobody was going to catch us.
Yeah, true. Those numbers are probably wrong, too.
Slipped away over the last 4 years under Biden. I campaigned on this policy throughout last year, and today that promise was made, and it was also a promise, as you know, that was kept. Promises made, promises kept. To any company that objects to our common
Lou
sense,
Hammer, you will never own me. I just want you to know that.
Back and forth.
You will never, ever own me. Ever.
I call this kind reciprocal. This is not full reciprocal. This is kind reciprocal. But what we do is we...
Kind reciprocal, Lou Hammer, you dumb fuck.
It's very simple. If they complain, if you want your tariff rate to be zero, then you build your product right here in America, because there is no tariff if you build your plant, your product in America. And we've seen companies coming in like we've never seen before. Likewise to all of the foreign presidents, prime ministers, kings, queens, ambassadors, and everyone else who will soon be calling to ask for exemptions from these tariffs. I say, terminate your own tariffs, drop your barriers, don't manipulate.
Drop your barriers.
Currencies. They manipulate their currencies like...
Drop your walls. No more borders. We're taking them.
And very devastating to us. And start buying tens of billions of dollars of American goods. Tariffs give our country protection against those that would do us economic harm. And many people were looking to do us economic harm. Maybe not so obviously, but they were doing tremendous economic harm. But even more importantly, they will give us growth. These tariffs are going to give us growth like you haven't seen before. And it'll be something very special to watch. I am so...
Protests on April 5th, guys.
And Brian, it's going to happen even
nationwide protests, April 5th. Go there.
You might say, but it's already started.
Go to your capital.
It's already started.
Go to your Capitol building.
Begun on plants all around the country, and you see that it's before. These are big, rich companies.
Saturday, go to your capital.
Started on a big plant going up. It's going to be announced over the next 2 days, and they already started work.
Yeah, Lou, our country doesn't need the tariffs at this point.
They've committed to build.
We're leaving tariffs. We've been historically moving away from tariffs. Going back to that is absolutely dumb as fuck. That's why you conservatives can't lead anything. You should not be able to lead anything, in my opinion.
The Middle East, we got to stop that. We got to stop.
Yeah, let's go back to the thing that from like 200 years ago.
They like shooting ships down and out of the
beliefs.
Water, ships. They get a kick out of it, but they're not getting such a kick out of it now, are they, Mr. Secretary? They're not getting such a kick out of that now. But here are just a short...
I'm willing to hear out like liberal politics and go back and forth between progressives and moderates for ideas, but at this point, not a single idea from a conservative is worth like even platforming, in my opinion.
Apple.
Not a single take, not a single idea, not a single one.
They're going to build their plants here.
They're all derived from lies, anyways, or from shit from 200 years ago that we've already moved past. But somehow, oh, let's go back. Let's go back to the 50s. Let's go back to the 1800s.
Hundreds of billions of dollars.
That's the takes.
TSMC, the biggest,
absolute waste of time.
Company in the world of chips from Taiwan. with no investment from us, is investing $200 billion. And they said the reason was, number one, the election of November 5th, and number two, the tariffs. They don't want to pay the tariffs, and the way they're not paying it is to build their plant here. So we're going to go from almost no percentage. We used to have 100% of the chip market. Now it's all in Taiwan. Almost all of it's in Taiwan, a couple of other countries, but mostly in Taiwan. And think of it, we had 100%. We lost it because of people in that office that didn't do their job. They allowed it to be stolen from us. Johnson & Johnson, great company, $55 billion. Eli Lilly, $27 billion. Meta is investing $500 billion. Wow. DeMac is investing $20 billion. CMA, CGM, $20 billion. And then you have Merck and Clarios, Stellantis, General Motors, GE Aerospace, Honda, Nissan, Hyundai are all putting in billions and billions of dollars, and they're committed 100%. So. And we've never had, and this is after 2.5 months. This is after just a short, this all took place as soon as we came out with what everybody wanted to do. You know, I watched a gentleman today on television, used to work with Lee Iacocca, a very respected automobile person, and he said, you know, because they were asking people, and they try and get as many negative people.
Exactly, Goldfinger Gaming, you're right.
It's pretty hard to find.
Exactly, Goldfinger.
What we're doing, especially when they see all this investment. They said, so tell me, what do you think of what Trump is doing from the automobile standpoint? He said, I can't believe it. Somebody is finally, he's an older guy, real pro, really top guy, with Lee Iacocca. He said, I never thought I'd see the day when this would happen, where somebody had the courage to go and do what has to be done. This is transforming our nation. Our entire nation is going to be transformed, not only with the cars, but on every single other item that's built. We're going to become an industrial powerhouse. And he said that so beautifully today. In fact, I'm going to find out, I'm going to get a tape, and Bruce, I'm going to get that tape, and I'm going to send it to you out in Long Island, and you're going to play it for the people and all your union workers. And
not until midnight. It probably won't. It's already closed.
Pretty even split.
It'll be in effect tomorrow.
But we have
like tomorrow,
so
you'll see the
we're
effects.
going to have about $6
more than today.
trillion of investments, and you wouldn't do that in years in this country over the last number of years. $6 trillion. And that's going to be much higher by the end.
Thank you, Stefan. Thank you so much, buddy.
Think of what $6 trillion is. You wouldn't have even a small percentage of that under this other system. We're going to be an entirely different
Don't go anywhere.
And it's going to be fantastic for the workers. It's going to be fantastic for everyone. There will never have been a transformation of a country like the transformation that's already happening in the United States of America. It's an incredible thing to watch, and it's incredible to meet with the top people, people that you read about, very wealthy people, or people that are great managers and executives and presidents of big public companies, and to watch the enthusiasm they have now that they didn't have. They gave up on our country. They went to foreign countries and they built. Companies are pouring into our country at levels never seen before, with jobs and money to follow, and it's really beautiful. In the coming days, there will be complaints from the globalists and the outsourcers and special interests and the fake news. Always, the fake news will always complain. But never forget, every prediction our opponents made about trade for the last 30 years has been proven totally wrong. They were wrong about NAFTA. They were wrong about China. They were wrong about the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which would have been a disaster if I didn't terminate it. If I didn't terminate that, United Auto Workers, you would have had no jobs in this country. You would have had no jobs. It was all going to other countries. In my first term, they said tariffs would crash the economy. Instead, we built the greatest economy in the history of the world. And again, I have great respect for President Xi of China, great respect for China, but they were taking tremendous advantage of us, and I commend them for that. I say, hey, if you can get away with it, that's okay. But, you know, they understand exactly what's happening, and they probably, most of them are saying it's about time they did something, but, and they're going to fight, and they're going to fight fair. Everyone's going to fight. You know, it's like, I say to the leaders, look, you got to take care of your country, but we have to start taking care of our country now. We can't do what we've been doing for the last 50 years. From the day of my election, the stock market went up in my first term 88%. with NASDAQ going up 155%, more than any president has ever had in any term in office, by far. And I think we're going to blow that away. And maybe the numbers won't show, but I think they're going to show much better than even those numbers. But what you're going to see is you're going to see activity, that empty, dead sites, factories that are falling down. Those factories will be knocked down, and they're going to have brand new factories built in their place. They're not only talking about renovating, they're talking about brand new, the best anywhere in the world, the biggest anywhere in the world. I have a friend who builds car plants, and I said, I want to see the biggest and the best. He said, well, we have to go to Mexico. I said, no, I want to see it in the United States. He said, we're not building them in there. This is a year and a half ago during the campaign. He said, we're not building it. You'd have to go to Mexico. When I was starting to decide to run, and I went to #1 in the polls very rapidly, I want to say, like let's say in the first hour, and then shortly thereafter, it looked like I was going to win, and the fake news was saying, "Oh no, don't do this." What they don't know is if I didn't win, they would have really been in trouble, because nobody wants to read them anyway. But I tell you what, when it looked like I was going to win, I announced that I was going to be doing exactly what we're talking about today. Great consistency, actually, because I've been talking about it for 40 years, but because I saw what was happening 40 years ago. If you look at my old speeches when I was young, very handsome, my old speeches, and that people would say, I'd be on a television show, I'd be talking about how we were being ripped off by these countries. I mean, nothing changes very much. The only thing that changed were the countries, but nothing really changes. But it's why it's such an honor. It's such an honor to be finally able to do this. If you look at China, I took in hundreds of billions of dollars in my term, hundreds of billions. They never paid 10 cents to any other president, and yet they paid hundreds of billions, so much so that Biden couldn't do anything. They wanted to try and terminate it because he had a very special relationship with China. You know what the relationship was? He had a special relationship. But the numbers were so big, that they couldn't do it. So they did ease it up. They did things that they shouldn't have done. They made it a lot more comfortable for them, but they couldn't do it because the numbers were hundreds of billions of dollars, and I did that. And we were on our way to doing something like incredible. And then we had a very bad election happen, a very bad election. A lot of bad things happened. So when I said we got to do it again, I said we have to make it too big to rig. And we made it too big to rig, and we won in records, and it was a monumental win. And it was such an honor to see so many of you, like Brian and your friends, here with us to celebrate, and to more importantly celebrate what we're doing, because that wouldn't be a full celebration if we didn't do this, because this will be an entirely different country in a short period of time. It'll be something the whole world will be talking about it. The critics made the very tired predictions earlier this year, but in February, core inflation dropped to the lowest rate in 4 years. And the price of eggs, as you know, just in a month and a half, we were there for 4 weeks. And the first week, I got blamed for eggs. I said, I just got here. They said eggs have gone up at like 250%, and you can't get eggs. And they were going crazy. And I said, I just got here. And then we got to work on eggs, and we got to work on everything. And our great Secretary of Agriculture, you did a fantastic job. Brooke Rollins, she did a fantastic job. And as I said before, the price of eggs dropped now 59%, and they're going down more, and the availability is fantastic. They were saying that for Easter, please don't use eggs. Could you use plastic eggs? I said, we don't want to do that. We want to, and you really came through. It's an amazing job. Thank you very much, Brooke. You did great. But likewise, an old-fashioned term that we use, groceries. I used it in the campaign. It's such an old-fashioned term, but a beautiful term, groceries. It sort of says a bag with different things in it. Groceries went through the roof, and I campaigned on that. I talked about the word groceries for a lot, and energy costs now are down. Groceries are down. Gasoline is way under $3, and people are beginning to be able to buy things and live again. We brought prices way down. We created 10,000 already in a few weeks, new manufacturing jobs. And it was that took place in 1 month. numbers that they haven't seen in a long time. We had virtually no inflation under my term. We had virtually no inflation for 4 years, but after transitioning over to Sleepy Joe, it went from almost non-existent to the highest in the history of our country. They had the highest inflation in the history of our country, brought up by energy and bad spending and bad policy, and a lot of bad things happened. How about allowing millions and millions and millions of people to pour into our country with open borders, where it's so sad to see even now, and I see our great secretary you have done. Stand up, please, Christy. Stand up. Christy Noem and Tom Homan. These people are doing a great job, but gotten them out in records. We have problems with judges that don't want them to go out. They want Tren de Aragua, and they want MS-13, the most vicious gangs ever. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Absolute killer gangs. They kill people. They don't even think about it. And we put them out, and we have judges now, radical left judges that they don't want them to go out. They want them to even be brought back. Let's bring them back. You've done a fantastic job, and please thank everybody. Homeland Security, thank everybody. Appreciate it. And we now have a border that's the best border that we've ever had, even better than it was my first term. My first term we did good, but this one we really specialized in. We've done really well. And we had records then. We had the best, safest border. 4 years ago, we had the best border there ever was. And now we have, you've actually matched it and done even better. And we're going to get it down the right way. And we want people, by the way, to come into our country, but we want to come in through a legal process. We want them to come in legally. We need more people. We need people to run these plants and to help the auto workers and the Teamsters and the non-union people and everybody else. But we need people and the farmers. And we're going to let people come in, but they want to come in. We want them to come in legally. They have to have the capability of loving our country, not people that hate our country. We don't want them in our country. And now we're going to pass the largest tax cuts in American history, and that's where we're relying on Mike and John Thune. And we will not cut Social Security, Medicare, or Medicaid benefits, and the Democrats will, because if they got in, the entire economy would collapse. This country was heading for a collapse under the people that you saw. They were horrible. I think one of the reasons people like the job, I have my highest approval ratings because I think they're comparing me to the worst administration in the history of our country, so I appreciate that at least. But Speaker of the House Mike Johnson and Senate Majority Leader, appreciate it, Mike. John Thune have been fantastic, by the way. But they've been working tirelessly on taking the next step to pass the plan for our one big, beautiful bill. I'd like to name it that if you can. One big, beautiful. I made that statement about 6 months ago, and everybody calls it one big, beautiful bill. And it will be that. It'll have everything, the big tax cuts and every incentive there is. And it'll be fantastic. And by the way, for the cars, we're asking for an interest deduction on a loan. So if you build the car, only in America we do it, Brian. If the car's not built in America, you don't get the interest rate deduction. But if you build the car in America, if you buy a car, if it's built in America, then you get an interest rate deduction, tax deduction, and that's a big thing. That's going to be a big thing. I think that's going to pay for itself very quickly, that deduction. Never happened. We've never had anything like that before. Somebody said, where do you get the idea? Because it's so basic. You would think that would have happened a long time ago. It never did, and I'm very happy it didn't, because now I can say that was my idea. But we're going to get us closer to the debt extension. We have to get the debt extension passed, and I know you're going to be able to do that, Mike, and it's very important that you do that. And all of the other things that the Senate budget plan gives us, along with working, because I know they're working together, John and Mike, and the two bills are going very well together. We need to get our shared priorities done, including certain permanent tax cuts. We want the tax cuts to be permanent, spending cuts, energy and historic investments in defense, border, and so much more.
Are we winning yet, guys?
Everything. These will be phenomenal. There'll be no bill like this going to straighten. One bill is going to straighten out our country for many, many years to come. And we said, let's just do it and let's get it done. And
are we winning?
Some guys will love it.
Is the winning started?
Like it a little bit less because they're not getting what they were exactly looking for, but they're getting a lot. They'll never, if we get this done, it'll be the most incredible bill ever passed in the history of our Congress and Senate and congressmen, the senators and the congressmen, many of whom are here today, will be very proud of themselves. I really believe that. It's going to set us on a whole new prosperous path. We're going to cut spending and right-size the budget back to where it should be. We're going to do that very strongly. Thank you, Rick. Thank you. John, thank you. Oh, look at all of our senators over there. Oh, boy, that's a nice group of people. But I won't like them so much if they don't get this bill done. That's a great group. And Congressman, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Tremendous people. The Senate plan is my complete and total support, and the House plan likewise is very similar. They're moving along pretty much at the same clip, and as soon as you're ready, you'll show it to me, and I'm sure it'll have my support, Mike. Every Republican congressman and senator must unify. We have to unify. We can't be separated. We have to get it done. We have to get absolutely everything we can, and we have to take care of the American people. That's the only thing that matters. We have to take care of the American people first. We need to pass this bill immediately, get it done, including debt extension. From this day on, we're not going to let anyone tell us that American workers and families cannot have the future that they deserve. We're going to produce the cars and ships, chips, airplanes, minerals, and medicines that we need right here in America. The pharmaceutical companies are going to come roaring back. They're coming roaring back. They're all coming back to our country because
they're roaring back.
Big tax to pay. And if they do, I'll be very happy, and you're going to be very happy, and you're going to be very safe. We're going to build our future
Oh,
with
so safe.
American hands, with American heart, American
Guys, like the
steel,
stream if you haven't.
Build it with American pride like we used to.
Like the
We're
stream.
approaching our 100th day as president and have been given credit by a lot of people, actually, even some of the fake news. Can you believe it? Which in this case hopefully isn't fake, for having done more in that time than any other administration in the history of our country in the first 100 days. I think we've had an amazing, in terms of what we've done, what we've gotten accomplished. I'd like to see if we can get that war ended and another war from not starting in the Middle East. We have to get Russia. They're losing 2,000 on average, 2,500 people today, young people, soldiers, Russian. Think of that. 2,500.
It's their fault.
Some days.
That's their fault.
On average, probably over about
That's their problem.
1 week period, it's 2,712, they say.
Is that what it is?
They're losing those soldiers. They're dying. They're being
More like
decimated.
1,400 a day.
They're not
Good.
from our country, but they're from other countries, but they're
Should be.
human beings. They're from Russia. They're from Ukraine in this period.
Russia started it.
And we're going to get it stopped. It's a senseless.
Look at those
war.
numbers.
Never happened to
Almost a
those.
million. Almost a million.
Allowed to go on. And I think we're being given good cooperation by Russia.
Think of the
and by
Vatniks,
Ukraine,
guys.
But we have to get it stopped. It's humanity.
Have you guys thought of the Russians, huh? And all this? Have you, like, in all this that's happening, have you just taken a moment to consider the Russians, guys?
Free nation that we're dealing with. We're going to have a very free and beautiful nation. It's going to be Liberation Day in America, and it's going to be a day that hopefully you're going to look back in years to come and you're going to say, you know, he was right. This has turned out to be one of the most important days in the history of our country. God bless you and God bless America. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Wow. Thank God it was less than an hour. Is that it? Can all these props take off their hats and their stupid vests and shit now? When you go to the White House, you wear a suit. Oh, there's Stephen Miller, little worm tongue. Look at his haircut.
Two documents prepared for the president's signature today. One closes what's referred to as the de minimis loophole with respect to imports from the
Not even Hail Mary.
The other is the big one, is the reciprocal tariff executive order that the president just spoke about at length. This is obviously a huge deal, and it's been an honor to be part of your team getting started.
This is big stuff.
Can't see him. Trump put the cameras back there, so you can't even see him do it. Nice. He has a box for his pens now. What is happening? He's signing the reciprocal tariffs that take effect at midnight. I posted it out on the community tab on YouTube and Facebook. I posted it so you can see the numbers yourself. Who wants a pen? Who wants a pen? Truly the dumbest time. Truly the dumbest time.
What will you do if the EU or other countries retaliate?
Well, at least we have good news in Wisconsin, you guys. At least we have good news in Wisconsin. Yesterday was good. Well, the Supreme Court results, 1.3 million votes. Elon Musk got absolutely destroyed yesterday, 55% to 45%. Elon Musk spending a ridiculous amount of money, like over 20 million in this race. And then late last night, I was on my gaming channel and the numbers came in. And I was like, oh, that didn't go well. That didn't go well for Elon Musk. So anyways, we had some MAGA trolls in the chat talking about how this is actually good for America as usual because they don't know what they're talking about, or they're trolls and bots usually. The U.S. and the world moved away from tariffs because, right, why we left tariffs, because Trump's talking about going back to tariffs, going back to that era, pre-World War I era, for whatever the fucking reason. Tariffs increase consumer costs. Consumers ultimately bear higher prices for goods, leading to inflationary pressures. We are going to be the ones paying for these tariff changes, not anyone else. The consumer will. So we're going to feel the brunt of the cost here. There will be reduced economic growth. Higher import costs disrupt trade flowing, reducing overall economic efficiency and growth, especially when the system we have had now has not been based on reciprocal tariffs. You have reciprocal tariffs, they do exist, but they're not like the entire trade is not revolving around them anymore. We've been moving away from them slowly from pre-World War I. Obviously, the risk of retaliation and trade wars with other countries because of this. Countries typically respond with reciprocal tariffs, harming domestic exporters and industries. We already had a statement from Scheinbaum, from Mexican president. They're not going to seek to try to retaliate with tariffs, but that doesn't mean the other list of all the other countries are not going to. Let's pull those up really quick. I do have the full list and the graphic from that Trump was looking at. Posted to Facebook and the YouTube channel. I have 106,000 followers on Facebook, guys, so I'm posting there. If you don't like Facebook, that's because you don't like it. There's lots of people there. Reciprocal tariffs. There we're looking at. So you got China, European Union, Vietnam, Taiwan, Japan, India, South Korea, Thailand, Switzerland, Indonesia, Malaysia, Cambodia, United Kingdom, South Africa, Brazil, Bangladesh, Singapore, Israel, Philippines, Chile, Australia, Pakistan, Turkey, Sri Lanka, Colombia. Then you had part 2 tariffs. Peru, Nicaragua, Norway, Costa Rica, Jordan, Dominican Republic, UAE, New Zealand, Argentina, Ecuador, Guatemala, Honduras, Madagascar, Myanmar, Tunisia, Kazakhstan, Serbia, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, El Salvador, Cote d'Ivoire. What the fuck place is that? Never even heard of that country, I'm going to be honest. Laos, Botswana, Trinidad and Tobago, and Morocco. Okay? Trinidad and more. So, tariffs charged to the USA, including currency manipulation and trade barriers. So, it's that China charges 67%. USA discounted reciprocal tariffs 34%. As you went through some of the numbers, here they are on your screen for the tariffs that he plans to enact. It says, glory to Ukraine. Thank you, Yvonne. Then 5 gifted from Dunk on You. And then also Dunk on You said Trump is a deluded old man in Slava Ukraine. So I just, none of this is going to be good. Damage to international relationships, obviously, right? Tariffs constrain diplomatic relations and destabilize global cooperation because it's out of nowhere. It truly is. Trump thinks this is a way to bring America back from whatever the hell. It's really just culture war feelings, but somehow they've tried to fist force this into the economy. And it's going to be terrible, like it has been. The economy's been not doing well traditionally since Trump took over. Trump's tariffs are considered dangerous because they risk global trade war, negative impacts on U.S. businesses, job losses, and geopolitical instability. Right? None of this is good. None of this is good. Like I don't know why you can't just. I don't know why conservatives can't just reform. I don't know why they can't do that. I don't know why you have to go back. Time moves forward. We don't go backwards. We never go backwards, ever. Ever, 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 ever. And if you try to go backwards, it's not going to go well for you. It's not going to go well for you. It's not going to go well for anyone. Nobody benefits from this stupid ideology. Let's go back. Let's go back to pre-World War I. Let's go back to the 1800s. Stupid fucking people, dude. So, Trump's tariffs, they're going to kick in at midnight. And then again, I have the full list of the countries that are going to be affected by them on my Facebook and my YouTube channel. Liberation Day, you guys. You guys feel liberated yet? That's from last night. Do we feel liberated, guys?
Them and who they will impact. And so we know there's about 60 countries that the White House is calling the, quote, worst offenders, they say, that have the worst trade barriers, that have tariffs on American exports, that have currency manipulation. So those countries, which, by the way, include the U.S.'s biggest trading partners, are going to be face a 50% tariff on what the U.S. has calculated that they...
I really think he's doing this to cause, obviously, like, mass chaos in the country and, like, riots, because that's what's going to happen, probably from the rise of prices. And he's going to try to do that to enact martial law and go full fascist dictatorship. That's what I'm concerned with.
Countries, Major. And as you mentioned, the president...
Thank you, Yvonne. Appreciate that.
Is a national emergency. Technically, he had to declare one so that he could regulate imports, but also his language really tried to underscore that. He said that, the U.S. has been looted and pillaged and raped and plundered by other nations, and it is time to stop. So buried in all of this is the message, Major, that he believes that there must be pain for big gain. But the question is, that we don't know exactly, is how much pain and for how long? Because even though his theory...
And guess what? You only have a few years to do so, and you got midterms coming up You dumb fucking idiots. You like the Republican MAGA thinks that they get power and like that's just
How
it.
long is that going to take? These are all unknowns. And at the end of the day, that is what the consumer wants to know, because they want to know, when you're talking about this pain in the meantime, what does it mean for me? And we just don't know that yet, Major.
And Ouija, I want to ask you about.
We're gonna find out. Is what happens when you fuck around, guys. What happens? What happens when we fuck around? Top losers, most active. We're not going to see a big change in economic numbers until tomorrow. President Trump ended months of suspense Wednesday by revealing broad reciprocal duties on all U.S. trade partners in what he has referred to as Liberation Day. Here's just a sample, right? I did have the full graph, though, on my YouTube channel and the Facebook page. China 34%, Vietnam 46%, European Union at 20%, South Korea at 25%, India at 26%, and Taiwan at 32%. Yeah, and these conservatives thought that, like non-MAGA conservatives thought that we were going to aid Taiwan. You're out of your mind. I remember that. I remember when Russia invaded Ukraine, and then a lot of the conservative commentators then also added Taiwan to that and was like, I'm also going to cover Taiwan too when that happens. Like, we saw what we did to Ukraine. You think we're going to even like give anything to Taiwan? Especially with Trump as president. He loves China. You think Trump and Elon Musk are going to militarily support Taiwan against China? You're out of your mind. So the moves Wednesday are the latest escalation of a trade war that also include plans to impose 25% tariffs on all foreign-made vehicles this week. Here's a rundown of another tariff-related moves Trump has made in the first months in office. He did 25% on steel and aluminum imports, which took effect on Wednesday, March 12th. The European Union responded to the metal duties with counter tariffs on $28 billion in U.S. goods from April. However, the EU delayed the implementation of some of those tariffs until mid-April, including a 50% duty on American whiskey, which had prompted Trump to threaten 200% tariff on European spirits. So it's like Trump will attack you with tariffs, and then if you respond, he'll go, "Whoa, I'm going to tariff the actual fuck out of you," and then say, "Well, they tariffed us," even though Trump's the one that's out here threatening with the tariffs. He's the one that's being the aggressor. He's the aggressor in the situation. The response is not the aggression, but that's the MAGA way. That's the MAGA way. We can do unto you, but you can't do unto us. Hell no. What? We're gonna do whatever the fuck we want to you, but as soon as you respond, that's nope. Okay, we don't tolerate that. Very similar to Russia's mindset. Canada and Mexico, Trump's 25% across the board tariffs and U.S. neighbors went into effect Tuesday, March 4th. 2 days later, Trump confirmed the U.S. would pause tariffs on goods and services compliant with the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, USMCA, on April 2nd. China had enacted a new blanket tariffs of around 20% on top existing 10% duties that went into place during Trump's first term. China has responded with up to 15% duties on U.S. farm goods such as chicken and pork, which went into effect Monday, March 10th. Venezuela. Trump said the U.S. will impose a secondary tariff on Venezuela to take into effect on April 2nd. Any country that buys oil or gas from Venezuela will face 25% tariff when trading with the U.S. Can't do that to Russia, though, huh? Liberation Day. Oh. Also on Liberation Day, Trump told his inner circle that Musk will leave soon. The president is pleased with Elon, but the decision comes as the tech mogul increasingly looks like a political liability. Because he is. He is one. President Trump told his inner circle, including members of his cabinet, that Musk will be stepping back in the coming weeks from his current role as governing partner, ubiquitous cheerleader, and Washington hatchet man. The president remains pleased with Musk and his department of Doge, the Doge thing, But the both men have decided in recent days that it will soon be time for Musk to return to his businesses and take on a supporting role. But he said that he wasn't going to be there forever, so this is according to plan. This isn't news. It's news because they would have kept Elon there if he was politically advantageous. If Elon Musk was benefiting MAGA, they would have kept him there as long as, and then they would have been like, yeah, he was going to be here the whole time. I know we told you that it was going to be temporary, but we love Elon. We love Elon. But obviously, because of the results of the Supreme Court ruling, and whenever Elon Musk opens his mouth, the opposite happens. AFD in Germany, Supreme Court in Wisconsin. So you lost the whole country for Germany, and then you lose a state local election for the Supreme Court by a lot. By a lot. Elon Musk is not good for politics. And I'm still on the, like, yes, true. Trump won the presidency, they won the House, they won the Senate, and they have the Supreme Court. They did it by the slim majority. So slim. If the Democrats can get their head out of their ass like they have been. Cory Booker did good yesterday. This is a good win, but also because of Elon Musk's hand in it, for sure. I think this win, I would argue that this win more has to do with Elon Musk and his position he took in this and the amount of money that he spent in this more than it does the Democratic strategy right now. And just imagine if the Democrats can get their head out of their ass. Billionaire donations to Wisconsin Supreme Court race. Here they are. Elon Musk through PACs. Obviously, like every single donor on this list, Elon Musk, beat them by a long shot. So Elon Musk, Diane Hendricks, and Elizabeth Uline, top billionaires donating to Schimmel, and then obviously you have George Soros. Oh, George Soros, the big, scary, bad George Soros. Ah, he's scary. I don't like him. I know that name. That name's familiar. Yeah, see? Still waiting on my paycheck, but apparently, I was a George Soros actor in 2020. Okay, according to MAGA, or a George Soros journalist. So, you got JB Pritzker, the other Uline family donating to the Democrat. Interesting. But Elon Musk absolutely destroyed everybody else when it comes to spending and absolutely got destroyed. So I think Elon should continue this. You might be annoyed with Elon Musk around politics, but it does bad for MAGA. So that's good for everybody else. While he funded Trump, yes, he helped Trump win, but he spent all that money and Trump barely won, actually, though. To Kamala, who only had the 100 days and she wasn't a popular candidate. 100 days, no primary. All of the media was against her. And she still only lost by a couple million. Lost, though. Still lost. But I promise you, if the Democrats get their head out of their ass, like we've seen a couple instances of, the Bernie AOC tour was good, but that needs to continue. Why is that energy stopped? Cory Booker's efforts. And just onesie and twosie Democrats, but the party as a whole needs to get on this wave. Or it could be bad. It could be. But right now, like I've mentioned in my analysis before, is that MAGA itself will destroy itself if you just watch it happen. But the problem is watching it happen also results in very, very bad things like these tariffs or the deportations. Working with El Salvador. Cory Booker did very good yesterday. We caught the end of it. Caught the very, very ending of that. Were you guys all tuned in from this afternoon? Oof. It's recovering slowly. It hit its lowest at 30. I wonder how it's gonna. It's been struggling to recover, but I wonder tomorrow what it's gonna look like when the market's open. 5 days. Look what Biden did. Thanks, Biden. Thanks, Biden. Trump. This is the Trump effect right here. Biden. God dang. All right, so we're gonna have to wake up, or I'm not gonna wake up early, like early in the morning tomorrow, but we're gonna have to look at the markets when they open. Or who's gonna be awake when the markets open tomorrow? You can be our market person. Let us know how this is all gonna affect the economy as a whole. Newcastle, Australia, how you doing? Michigan, good to have you. It's Obama's fault. Obama. Tomorrow is gonna be a disaster. Probably. It starts at midnight. I'll probably be live on Armory Forager still. I've accepted I'm addicted to that game, and it is what it is. Most likely be awake. That's going to be the next big thing to pay attention to, will be the market response. We're looted, pillaged, raped, and plundered by other nations. So the post-World War II world that we were living in, Trump is trying to undo that and take us back to before. Been ripped off for more than 50 years. It's like Republicans and MAGA both want to be number one in the world, but then all the things that make us number one in the world, they're going to destroy that. And then at the end of it, they're going to just sell us out to the highest bidder when they're done. It's not going to work. And when it doesn't work, they're just going to be like, oh, okay, well, we're fucked now. China, Russia, whoever else, Saudi Arabia, come buy up America, which they're already doing in like Indiana and other places. Dollar Tree will be the $10 tree. $20 tea. You're going to remember today. Yeah, I think we will. I think we will remember this moment when the streets get crazy. So stupid. Thank God these tariffs so we can ditch these loser jobs from college Marxist idiots to pursue work, textile manufacturing, and coal mining. Oh my God. Oh my God. He wants to do like old ass manufacturing because you're old and you're old and you're old. What did this guy have to say today? Our defense secretary.
Here at the Defense Department, we are restoring the warrior ethos, and that means we got to be fit to fight inside all of our formations. That starts with standards and going back to basics.
If it starts with standards, you've already failed.
So for decades, the military I joined, there were different male and female physical standards.
Oh boy.
Because men and women are different, and that's understandable. But there were certain jobs, combat MOSs, that were only for men, and so you had a male standard. Then in 2015, under the Obama administration, against the advice...
So, remember when the Republicans and MAGA pretend that they care about women? Remember when they pretend? When like they found an issue, they like hate trans people so much, then they make their hatred of trans people somehow they're like, I hate trans people, so therefore I like women. That's it. They hate women though, but like they get away with it by shitting on trans people. Okay, and by doing that, then women good. But actually, this is a policy that's going to undo women serving in combat roles. Okay, which is what MAGA has been trying to undo since Obama enacted it. Right? It's made our forces more lethal because women can serve in more jobs. This dumbass feelings-based opinions of like women can't serve in combat jobs because men and like, because I think a certain way, other men will too, or whatever. It's rooted in feelings. There's no facts there. But also, again, we've been living in this policy for 10 years, and it hasn't making the forces weaker at all. It hasn't lowered the standards whatsoever. Okay, so what they're going to do now is adjust the make sure that women that serve. Let me pull up the height, weight, the PT test requirements. U.S. Army PT test chart. It's different now, so I'm gonna have to actually look at it because they have 18,000 different exercises to do. We only had the push-ups, the sit-ups, and the 2-mile run back when I served. Now they got this woke army with, they got the shuttle sprint and the pull-ups and the other dumb fuck shit. The power throw, the deadlift, I wouldn't join the army at all at this point. I'm glad I joined when I did. This is insane. I don't even know how to read the standard sheet here. See the full chart here? Oh, I can't look at it. Is it age-based still? When did this get written? 2018? Oh no, give me the, no. You have to do deadlifts now? Why? Max deadlift. You have to. You can deadlift 340. Wow. So it's all points based. The higher the points you get, the better. You got to max your PT test. You don't have to. Well, yeah, if you want to rank up, you're going to have to. So the more you do, the more points you get, right? Same with when I was in. The faster you run the 2-mile in, or the more push-ups you do, the more sit-ups you do, the more points you get, which then go into the ending and your final total of your points. And as you get older, the standard drops, obviously, because you get older. So when you're 17 to 21, apparently 340 pound deadlift, it gets you 100 points. See, if for a female, you get 210 pounds, because obviously, I don't know a female that, I mean, yes, there's probably a female or two that can deadlift 340 pounds. That's a lot. GG's to you. But most women, it's just physically not, you're just not going to happen. Okay. Just how it works. Okay. But the way that Pete Hegseth is going to do this, and MAG is going to do this, is that they're going to make the female number be 340, for example. And that's going to make it obviously impossible for women to join the combat roles. And that's how they're going to do it. Okay. I don't know. I'm just giving you an example. That's not going to be, don't quote me on it. Okay. I'm just giving you an example of how they're going to adjust these standards. So that way women, it's going to be significantly harder to be a part of combat jobs, because the combat roles, they significantly care more about PT numbers than anyone else, for obvious reasons. You got to be in good shape for those jobs. So that is going to be one of the standards that are hit. And I don't know if it's the deadlift one. I'm just using this as an example. You got the standing power throw. I don't even know what this number means. The hand release push up. What the fuck does that mean? What's the hand release push up? Dude, I'm so glad I got out of the Army.
Hand release push-up is the third event in the Army Combat Fitness Test. It develops endurance in the muscles of the shoulders, arms, and trunk. The number of successfully completed repetitions is counted over a 2-minute period.
Okay, show me the exercise.
Breakdown of the event as it would be conducted during a test.
The starting position for the hand release push-up is the prone position with hands flat on the ground beneath the shoulders. Feet will be together or up to boot width apart. Head may be on or off the ground with eyes facing downward. Arms may be away from the trunk. On the command go, the first movement is the push-up from the ground into the front-leaning rest. This movement ends when both elbows are fully extended. The hips and trunk must leave the ground at the same time and move as a unit. The legs, hips, trunk, and head must remain in a straight line throughout the exercise. The second movement is to flex the elbows and return to the starting position. The third movement is the hand release. Without moving the head, body, or legs, the soldier will fully extend their arms to the side. Hands may be on or off the ground.
I am so, I'm actually happier now. Today, my day has gotten better. I'm glad I can play Armory Forager later in LARP instead of doing this dumb fuck shit. Oh my God. You have to do this at 4 in the morning. What's wrong with the normal push-up? What's wrong with just pushing your body weight up off the ground? Now you got to do all this extra shit. You got to lay there. At least you get to lay there for a second and then get your strength back to do another push-up. So that's exercise now in the PT test. Okay. The sprint drag carry. What is that? This is in the PT test. Again, when I took the PT test, you go out there, you do your push-ups, and then your arms are tired. But guess what? You got to do some sit-ups afterwards. And then guess what? Now your whole body's tired, but then you got to go to do a 2-mile run, and then you're done. And that was it. It was tough, though. The 2-mile run was actually a little bit of a mental challenge because, again, you're just knocked out like, 60, 70 push-ups. And then you also did like 70, 80 sit-ups if you're good. You're good at sit-ups, like me. I could do that many. Push-ups, not so much. Sit-ups, I could knock them out. And then you got to do your 2-mile run after that. But this is crazy. What is this?
The sprint drag carry is the fourth event. This event tests a soldier's anaerobic endurance, muscular power, agility, and coordination. Prior to the start of the sprint drag carry, the soldier may position the sled handles and kettlebells anywhere behind.
How much money is all this equipment at the PT test?
The start line. On the command
Bro, the PT test, I wasn't in that long ago. I just got out in 2022. You need your body. All you needed was your body. That was it. Now you need all these extra bells and fucking whistles.
The soldier assumes the prone position with hands flat on the ground and head behind the start line. On the command go, the soldier stands and sprints 25 meters. The soldier touches on or past the 25-meter line.
What a sprint.
With the hand and foot, turns and sprints back to the start line. The soldier grasps each strap handle, which will be positioned and resting on the sled behind the start line. The soldier drags the sled backward until their entire body and the entire sled crosses the 25-meter line.
Wow.
The soldier turns the sled and drags it back to the start line until the entire sled crosses the start line. When the entire
I wonder why Army numbers are actually down. I wonder why the numbers are actually down. Who wants to do this, bro?
Entire sled crosses.
And then you get tested on it, and you don't rank up if you don't do well on this. Actually, like, so this is, I mean, it's
line.
I'm out of the Army. I don't care. In my militia, we're not doing that dumb shit. Okay. We're gonna learn how to shoot, move, communicate, and smoke 420. Good comms. Do some cardio. But this wild. Well, wait, it's not done. The exercise isn't over yet.
The soldier drops the straps and begins the lateral. The soldier performs a lateral shuffle for 25 meters. The soldier touches on or over the 25-meter line with their hand and foot and performs the lateral back to the start line.
Why?
The soldier will face the same direction, moving to both lines so that they lead with each foot.
Why?
Feet may shuffle and touch, but should not cross. For the carry portion, soldier will grasp the handles with a close grip of the two 40-pound kettlebells and run to the 25-meter line. The kettlebells must be carried at the soldier's side. The soldier steps on or over the 25-meter line with one foot, turns, and runs back to the start line. After stepping on or over the start line, the soldier places, not drops, the kettlebells on the ground beyond the start line, turns, and sprints back to the 25-meter line. The soldier touches on or past the 25-meter line with the hand and foot, turns, and sprints back to the start line. Time is...
So they got like, when you were in Fayed in high school and you just did some random shit because the gym teacher was hungover and just was like, just do some shuttle sprints.
Scored when the soldier crosses the finish line.
Wow. Incredible. Wow. What a like if this is the worst event for the... What the fuck? That why even do that? Like, what is the? Okay, well that's on the PT test now, so you gotta do that. The plank, you got a plank now. The plank. Army PT. Jesus Christ, dude.
The plank is the 5th event in the Army Combat Fitness Test and assesses core strength and endurance in a stationary position. Soldiers are graded by how long they are able to hold the proper plank position. Here is a breakdown of the event as it would be conducted during a test. On the command,
the plank.
Get ready. The soldier will place his or her hands on the ground.
Didn't motherfuckers go and do this as a meme and like start doing this on random shit like a couple years, like 5-10 years ago?
Either in fists with the pinky side of the hand touching the ground, or lying flat with palms facing down. No,
I'm doing the fists. I'm doing fists.
More than the greater.
Are you guys hands or fists?
Fist width apart. The hips should be bent with one or both legs resting on the ground. Once all soldiers are in the ready position, the grader shall issue the command, "Graders ready."
Oh, wow.
Get set, go.
On the command,
she was already up. You said get set and go. She's already in the plank.
Get set. The soldier lifts both knees off the ground.
How is that in the get set position? You already started. How is get set? So you're supposed to have the preparatory command and then the command of execution. Okay. You're already in the plank.
Moves the hips into a straight line with the legs, shoulders, head, and eyes focused on the ground.
You can't look up
to the front-leaning rest. The soldier's feet may be up to the grader's boot width apart. Elbows are aligned with the shoulders. Together with the
over half of my truck company when I was in couldn't do this. Like just physically couldn't do this.
Forearms forming a triangle. Ankles are flexed with the bottom of the toes on the ground. The soldier maintains his or her body in straight alignment from the head to the ankles. The fingers on the left hand may not be interlocked or interlaced with the fingers on the right hand. On the command, go, the OIC, NCOIC, or grader starts the clock and the event begins. The OIC, NCOIC, or grader will call out the time in 15-second intervals.
15 seconds.
Until...
What's the standard? 3 minutes and 40 seconds to max it as a 17 to 21-year-old. Let me see. I'm now... Oh, I'd be in the 32 to 36 age bracket now, baby. I'd be in this one. This is my bracket. So I'd have to do that for 3 minutes and 25 seconds to max it. What else? The plank. That's the plank. Oh, they still have the 2 mile run. So you got to do all that bullshit and then still do a 2 mile run. Wow. You got to do all this extra shit now, and then you still have to do the 2 mile run at the end. Yeah, I'm glad I'm out. Yep. Now, no regrets. No regrets at all. Standing power throw. What is that one?
The standing power throw is the second event of the Army Combat Fitness Test. The standing power throw measures upper and lower body explosive power, total body flexibility, and dynamic balance. The soldier will face away from the start line, grasp the 10...
Why? For what?
10-pound medicine ball with both hands.
Is it just like an Olympic competition? Is that what they're just that bored?
The hip level, and stand with both heels at, but not beyond.
It's like the Olympic Games or something, dude.
Soldiers may choose to
the Ozempic Games
stand further from the start line to reduce the risk of stepping on or beyond it during the throw attempts. Towels or
okay, you don't throw a hand grenade like this though, Thorben. I'm telling you right now, as somebody that's thrown a hand grenade, you don't do this. You don't like, take it and you don't twist the pin, pull pin, and then throw it like this. You're not doing that, okay?
Bags will be provided to remove excess moisture or debris from the medicine ball.
You get down.
Grasp the ball firmly and as far around the sides of the ball as possible.
Go.
No part of the soldier's body may touch on or beyond the start line throughout the
Wow.
This will result in a fault.
Wow.
The
I wouldn't be able to take this seriously. Like, I'm glad, dude.
soldier's feet may leave the ground, but may not step on or beyond the line. And
Why
must
did you?
maintain-
Why would you even move your feet anyways? Why would that be? How is that possible? How do you even do that? No, it doesn't. No, you would throw. No, if you jumped backwards, the ball would go further. It would go less. You can't even throw the ball that far. You got to keep your feet planted to throw the ball further because you are like a fulcrum. This doesn't even work. How do you even do that?
On or beyond the line and must maintain their balance.
You guys want to join the army?
If the soldier falls to the ground in any direction, this is also a fault. The soldier
If you do that, you should.
will have 2 record throws, unless faulting on both throws, where the soldier will be granted a third and final throw. The farthest throw.
It's like they had to create faults just to. No one's doing that. No one's doing that.
The farthest throw counts for record. The grader at the start line must record both record throws. Only the longer of the 2 recorded throws will count as the record throw.
Wow.
The grader will circle the longest throw attempt. If a soldier faults on a record throw, they will receive a raw score of 0.
No one's doing that.
If a soldier faults on both record throws, they will be allowed 1 additional attempt to score on the SPT.
Okay. So is that, I'm guessing these are meters. You got to throw it 12 meters, 12.6 over your head. That's the first event. Oh, the max deadlift is the first one. Where are they getting that equipment? ACFT. Army Combat Fitness Test, it's called now, not the physical fitness test anymore.
The 3 repetition maximum deadlift is the first. After completing preparation drill and a deadlift warm-up, soldiers move to the lane with a hex bar loaded with the soldier's target weight for the 3 repetition maximum deadlift event. A grader takes a soldier's scoring card.
I could probably do like 300 some. You only got to do it 3 times?
On the command of get set, the soldier steps into the bar.
At least 300. I could probably do 280, 300 right
and
now.
Assumes the
without stretching.
straddle stance with ankle centered inside the hex bar and aligned with the midpoint of the hex bar handles. The soldier will bend at the knees and hips, reaching down to grasp the center of the handles. Arms should be straight, back flat, head in line with the spine or neck slightly extended, and feet flat on the floor.
3 reps?
Any preparatory movements are performed at this point to include setting shoulder, hand, and foot positions. While firmly gripping the bar
Firmly
and while
grip
keeping
it.
the spine straight, the
firm grips, guys.
soldier will straighten the knees, hips,
Wow.
and trunk, lifting the weight until reaching an upright stance.
Wow.
After a short pause in the upright position, the soldier lowers the weight under control until it rests on the ground.
And that's a deadlift.
This movement is repeated 2 more times to complete the event. If the soldier fails to lift
That was a bad deadlift.
3 times successfully, he or she will move to a lighter weight
He's like he's straightening his back out at the end.
for
You gotta
1
be
more
careful.
attempt.
You're gonna hurt your back that way. That guy's gonna have a bad back because of this stupid fucking combat fitness test. Probably has a 40. He's probably a 42 alpha, and he's gonna have physical ailments when he gets out because of this stupid PT test. Anyways, okay. Well, that's the new standards, and that's a little rabbit hole into this clown and what he's talking about when it comes to the physical standards. So that's the test overall. When I was in, let me see here, Army PT test 2012. Let's just do 2012. See if it'll come up here. Nope, I don't want the ACFT. Performing the Army physical fitness test. There you go. This is when I joined.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1.
You gotta do the warm-ups. You gotta do a little group warm-up. You do a group warm-up, you go out there and do your cardio, and then you gotta do some push-ups, and then you do some sit-ups, and then you go run. And that's it. And then you're done. Look at, wow, push-ups. Wow, sit-ups. Wow. And then running. That's it. And guess what? That's good enough, actually. Guess what? It's actually good enough. Because when you're doing as many push-ups as you can, your arms are going to be on fire. Same with your core from sit-ups. And then you have to go run 2 miles after that. So you're cooked. Like your body's already like cooked from doing as many push-ups and sit-ups as you physically can in 2 minutes, because you have 2 minutes to do each exercise. And then you have to go do a 2 mile run. It was fine. It was fine. Crazy work. Anyways.
Then in 2015, under the Obama administration, against the advice of the military services, opened up all those combat MOSs to males and females. Fine, if that's their decision.
Yeah, we care about women. We care about women and having equal opportunities, ass party. Yeah, liars. You don't.
But they never changed the standards in a lot of those roles. So you still had higher standards for men than for women in a lot of those combat MOSs.
Guess what? Those combat MOSs, well, they grade harder. It's the same standard. Guess what, chat? This standard is not different for like infantry or for a 42 Alpha desk job. Guess what? It's the same standard. It's a one standard across all of it. The difference is the honest to God truth is somebody that served in the Army. In a combat job, you have those graders on the PT test watching like hardcore, like they're sitting there making sure your elbows are perfect, and they're not going to count a push-up unless you do it exactly how you're supposed to, which, I mean, if you're a standard Nazi, I guess you could say that that's the right way. But, you know, like a unit that isn't combat, they're not really like having the most hardcore graders ever. Like they're going to probably count your push-up that isn't like completely, you know, you're trying. Okay, we'll give you that one. It'll be like a little more lax, I guess. But the standard itself, though, like if you want to max out the PT test, it's the same standard no matter what your MOS is, no matter what the job is, no matter what it is. It's the same chart, the same numbers, no matter what job you pick in the military, or at least in the Army. I don't know the Marines and the Navy or anyone else. I just know how the Army works. Okay, so you got to do all these exercises. Same numbers across the board for all jobs, same way. But again, just a caveat, the combat jobs will probably have harder graders. Like they'll just be a stickler on making sure you're doing the exact push-up. So they might not count some of your numbers, like whereas other units that you're in might do that. But there's no change. The numbers aren't different.
Some changed it, but not all did. We're fixing that. We're ensuring that any combat position across any of the services, and the services are evaluating that, has the same standard for men and women, which means anybody can join. But
again, now women joining combat jobs is just going to be harder because you're not have like women. It's not all women. Like maybe a couple here and there can do 340 deadlift, 340-pound deadlifts. It's just like our physical makeups are different. Right, our ability to lift a lot of weight is just physically different. It just is what it is. It's just why, and it's why there's been a different number. Like the women can still serve, but you can clearly see that they have a standard that's applicable to their physical abilities. So that way, a woman can serve, but can still like she still has her own physical standards to abide by, and they're still not the easiest either. For the women's standards, you might go, 200 as a man, you might go, 210-pound deadlift. I'll do that on one leg. Sure. But when women go out there and do it, like that is actually like can be a challenge. Some women exceed at this too. Okay. Some women exceed very well at it, and they can do men numbers, but only like onesie and twosies. And so they're going to make it so that way women have to achieve 340-pound deadlift. For example, again, I don't know if that's a specific one. That's the energy that Pete Hegseth is doing, and it will result in less women being able to serve in these roles, which will obviously mean less women.
But the standard is to meet what it takes to do that combat job, rigorous physical standard.
And they have been. Women have been serving in this job for the last 10 years, or these jobs, artillery, infantry, whatever they've wanted to serve in, they've been able to. And now they're gonna be like, oh, well, you still can. But now you got to do the man standards.
So that your sons and daughters, those that join our military, have the best possible units, the most lethal units. So this is a standard review.
Yeah, set up to fail.
Looking at combat.
Not all will fail. I'm not going to say that either, though. Some women will be able to do the men numbers, or at least close to them, but the majority will not, and that's just fact.
Units, looking at men and women, no standards will be lowered, only at the highest level, and we look forward to all our best warriors joining those units. It's a review that's important, long overdue, and the kind of thing we promised inside the Trump administration.
We care for all women, except for the ones that can't do push-ups and sit-ups and serve, or all the other bullshit exercises. Numbers aren't going well, or what? I'm not seeing all that yet. This is what I voted for. Kind of makes you dumb, right? Oof. What is that? From my nightmares. Holy. Elon, that's Elon. Looks like North Korea really dodged a bullet with this first wave of tariffs. Didn't see any North Korea on there, did we? No, it's pain. It's pain for the gain, right? But it's pain that's Americans are gonna feel. So this is saying the good news about Trump's tariffs, and I've told you guys this. It's a resiliency, but it's still prices are gonna go up, and then coming back from this is gonna take long. MAGA can't ever win again. They can never win again. So America's amnesia problem needs to stop, but I don't know how that's gonna happen. So after Trump inevitably loses in the midterms and beyond, they can't ever come back again. MAGA has to be completely destroyed. If you flip it upside down, tariffs are good. Yeah, libs. Like that, liberals. Why? So MAGA's other thing is they have to keep all of their characters together. So why is Secretary Kennedy, who's the health secretary, at the Pentagon? Because guess what? Because MAGA thinks that they're all of their favorite stars in MAGA, and they all have to like work together, and they have to be seen together, because that's how they keep up the propaganda. Oh, well, they're all working together. They're working so hard for us.
Hi, I'm Brett Favre. You must get out and vote April 1st for Judge Brad Schindler. The future of Wisconsin is at stake here. This is as important as the November election.
Oops. We got good news on our Project Constantine fundraiser. I do see that continue to raise. So that continues to go up. You guys are doing excellent work on that note. Okay. Let's try. We'll do Ukraine update this weekend. And I think that's all I got for you guys for right now. I think that's all I got. I don't have any other news. Supreme Court went well. Trump's tariffs were announced, but we won't see the effects in the economy really until tomorrow. And I think that's all I got for you. I don't have much more. We got a big action summit coming up this week, you guys. Support on the Buy Me a Coffee link. Link is in the description. Well, lots of Ukraine coming up. I got fundraisers to share out for people that have been asking me to. Brandon Mitchell asked me to share a video, but we'll be doing that when I get closer to Ukraine locking in stuff, because we're going to be locked in this weekend. We got a protest on Saturday. There'll be a lot of Ukrainian flags out there. It's not for Ukraine, but like the protest against Elon and Trump also have a lot of Ukrainians and Ukraine supporters that show up to these, because it's been egregious in what Trump's done to Ukraine. But then also Sunday, I go to Washington, D.C., and next week I'm going to be at the Ukraine Action Summit. I think it's my 4th or 5th one. I don't remember. It's 4th or 5th. Here we are. Okay. Action Summit, spring of 2025. I already got my hotel. I already got my flight. But I'll be doing streaming, and there's a big rally out there in Washington, D.C. So I'll be out there doing, No Sleep Till Kyiv world premiere. Oh, I'm gonna miss it. I think. I don't know what day. What day do I come back? Hold on. I'm in that film. That's our film about. They put it on Wednesday, huh? When everyone's leaving. When's my flight? Gotta log in. I think I come back home on Thursday morning, maybe. Trips. Oh, the 10th. I think because I wanted to just the less time in Washington D.C. the better. It's like cool tourism, but I've been there so much now lately, so I just want to go home. Okay, I will be there for that then. Okay, I will be there for the premiere of our movie. No Sleep Till Kyiv. That's the film about our NATO convoys from Estonia to Ukraine.
Just hours ago, Russian forces began their attack.
Kyiv might soon fall to Russian forces.
The Russians will take control of Kiev
within 24 hours.
These rugged trucks are a long way from Central Florida, winding the roads of Eastern Europe to get to a war zone. In that convoy, Peter Duke is part of a group bringing these trucks and supplies for their fight against the Russian invasion.
I believe what's happening here in Ukraine is worth the support of the free world.
People are very resilient. They're moving on with their life and doing the work that's necessary. They don't just throw in the towel and like, oh, please, will someone come help us? They are very vigorously involved.
I am an accountant. I really believe that this war was important and needed to be supported.
I run a company that makes sustainable packaging.
I was actually the first Estonian YouTuber.
I'm a Ukrainian volunteer. I supply combat medics.
I think it really brings life into sharper focus when you've got that kind of calamity going on around you and everybody is part of the solution.
I just committed myself to raising as much money as possible and trying to get as much equipment in as I could as an individual.
I want to give thanks to emergencykits.com for coming through.
Our convoy will top the 290 truck number.
We ask in NAFI community and Charity Fund 69 Sniffing Brigade to provide us pickup truck for our combat missions.
It is very different than Iraq and Afghanistan. There we fought an insurgency, here we're fighting an actual army.
It's unimaginable for the Western people.
What I see up there are people's lives.
But Russians actually attack the families.
I hope that now everyone understands it's only death that they bring to this world.
If we let Russia take Ukraine just because of their imperialist visions, then China and other countries will see this as an opportunity and will think, okay, they can do it, we can do it as well. So we need to stop it here. There's no other option.
When Hitler invaded Austria, what if someone had tried to stop it? Maybe he wouldn't have killed 6 million Jews.
Right. History is made every second. Yes. And there is two choices. We are helping to make the history, or we are watching this enveloping and one moment basically waking up in the world which we would never ever want to be part of.
Save Ukraine! Slava Ukraini!
No Sleep Till Kyiv. That's the movie that was made. I told you guys when we were in the car, I was with Arthur and there was cameras in the truck everywhere and it was like a big thing. It's going to be ready. So it's going to be premiered next week at the Action Summit. Hopefully I'll be able to get that and then can screen it to you guys somehow or figure out how to do that. But that's on the 9th on Wednesday. So got a big week. Sunday, we have training. I had training last night too. It's training and training and training and training and death by Zoom calls, actual, but it's good stuff. It's good information. But Sunday, we're going to have training. I got networking. I got to check in by 7 p.m. on Sunday. And then Monday, we got a master class for policy priorities. We got state breakout sessions. So me and my Minnesota delegates will be planning our plan of action for the week. Then we got a war film, I guess, on Monday. And then Tuesday, we have a group photo. There's congressional meetings start at 9 a.m. Tuesday. So we'll be with our representatives talking to them about Ukraine at 9 a.m. on Tuesday. And then there's a reception at 6:30 p.m. Tuesday. And then we got more meetings on Wednesday. Then we got multiple events: a Remembrance Society and ACU press event. Vladimir Putin, world's #1 terrorist. 3:30 p.m. Happy hour. There's a happy hour. My happy hour will be 420 friendly, personally, because Washington D.C. has that. No Sleep Till Kyiv world premiere. Nice. And then that's what we got. So pretty busy week next week with Ukraine stuff. A lot of that big action summit. Lots of good things. I've done multiple of them. So to support the work I'll be doing and the flight and all that, and then get back home, you guys support on the Buy Me a Coffee link, which is in the description, which you don't have to. Thank you to everybody for just sharing the stream, liking the stream, all that, you guys. Good stuff. I'll do daily updates out there every night. Well, each night. I'm only there for 2 nights this time. But Tuesday and then Wednesday, I'll do a nighttime stream giving you guys an update on the day, how it went, talking to the Congress people and the politicians, update you guys on some of the policies, not all of them, because some of them might be OPSEC, and we are 100% clean on OPSEC. So it depends on what I can. I'll look at the sheet and then I'll read off the sheet to you guys for some of the policies that we're going to be advocating for when it comes to this action summit. Because for every action summit, we've had different policies that we've been trying to push to help Ukraine each time. The last time was really good because that was the F-16, long-range missiles, and just the big supplemental funding bill. And we got that. We got that through. And obviously, as you guys know, too late for the F-16s and the long-range missiles, but it was still an effort, and it still eventually happened. It just needs to be faster, okay? So I can't wait to tell you guys what the next plans for trying to work with this Trump administration and the government is like. We did it with Biden, got to do it with Trump. I served under Trump too, by the way. Remember that. I was in the Army when Trump was president. I was in the Army when Obama was president. I was in the Army when Trump was president. So got to go to Washington, D.C. So it's going to suck up there. I mean, MAGA infected Washington, D.C., but still got to do it. All right, guys, I'm going to be live on my gaming channel later. I haven't built a stream yet. I will during the credits and then send you guys there, but you can go do your thing. I'm going to be live on Armor Reforger tonight. Earlier, if there's any breaking news that comes in, I'll switch over and cut over here to live on Mercado Media. But if not, you guys, we're growing big on Mercado Gaming. Hoping this channel grows, my Mercado Media YouTube channel grows, my Facebook page is growing. Gained new 2,000 followers over there, so thank you to everybody on Facebook. YouTube is just kind of figuring itself out still. I hope I grow, but this channel's growing. All right, Mercado Gaming. We're going to play Armor Reforger. We go fight the Russians. We had a lot of people last night tuned in, over 600 people tuned in, so I appreciate that. But I'm going to be in a mill sim tonight. That'll be cool. You get to see what that's like. And also just kind of hanging out with some of my subscribers in Armor Reforger. So thank you again. Happy Liberation Day, I guess, whatever that is. But everybody else, will see you tomorrow. Like, subscribe, follow, all that. Thank you to the members. Thank you to all the supporters, everybody that supports the stream. We had KP. Thank you, Stefan. Thank you, Pammy with the 5. Thank you, Maggie with the 6.99. Thank you, Sator with the 9.99. Said F this guy and his droning sing-song lies to Trump. Pammy, thank you for the 5. Says eggs are still expensive. FDT. Dunk on you with the 5 gifted. Thank you so much. Yvonne, thank you, Yvonne. Thank you, Timmy. Says it's Canada's fault. On behalf of Canadians, I plead your 5th, Mr. Trump. Yvonne with the 3. Yvonne with the 99 cents. And then Yvonne with $1. I appreciate you so much, buddy. Hope to see you guys on the gaming channel. If not, Slava Ukraine, Vladimir Putin, and Donald Trump do fuck off. See you guys on the next one.